My family and I are pumped for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie. And just like every other time there's been a new version of TMNT on toy shelves, I went out and bought a whole bunch of them. So how do these things stack up to the others? Keep watching to find out on this episode of Geek Dad Life. I remember when my parents took me to see the 1990 TMNT film. I was already a couple years into my Ninja Turtle fandom, but the Turtles getting a movie seemed to elevate one of my favorite toy lines and properties. What made it extra special was that the movie was actually good, and I think it still holds up today. I've enjoyed many versions of the Turtles over the years, but that first film is still my favorite version that I've seen on any screen. Fast forward to the summer of 2023, and there's a new TMNT movie that looks to bring the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to a new generation. That generation includes my two sons. I can't wait to watch this film with them. They've loved the couple trailers released so far, so I hope this film is for them what that first movie was for me. Knowing the street release date was June 25th, I headed to a nearby Target where I was delighted to run into fellow toy tuber Jonathan from Nostalgia Unboxed. Luckily, it was one of the few Targets in the area that had a decent amount of toys displayed in a Mutant Mayhem end cap. I picked up all of these sets that I had my heart after. The only thing missing were single-carded figures of the main Turtles. I love that the packaging both pulls design cues from the film's look and branding, but it also throws in nods to artwork of Turtles past, showcasing an exploding brick wall on most of the box art. The single-carded figures are great. They were only $9.99, and compared to other similarly priced figures, these ones offer a lot of value. They come in around 4.5 inches, similar to the original line, the 2012 show and the Rise of TMNT toys. They have a similar level of detail and quality to the last few versions of Ninja Turtles as well. There aren't a ton of paint apps, but there are enough to make each character look good. They all have 11 points of articulation, save for Superfly, who only has 9. They all have a decent range of motion, and you can get them into plenty of fun poses. The only one that poses some difficulty with posing is Superfly. His character design is so extreme that it makes it hard to get him to stand up, but I did find a few different ways to keep him upright. I love all of these new designs so far. There are plenty of reference points to the original character designs and toys. I specifically love how they all feature their same weapons from the original toy line and continue the tradition of the weapon trees. I will say the bad guys scale a bit smaller than the Turtles, and while I haven't seen the film yet, the trailers do make it seem like the bad guys are way bigger than our Turtle heroes. This isn't the first time the big bads have been scaled down, so it's not a major bummer, more of an FYI. I was unable to find any single-carded versions of our hero Turtle figures. I know they're out there, but they did have this Ooze Cruisin' figures pack that included all of the hero Turtles, as well as April O'Neil, which I don't think I've seen a single-carded version of her yet, so I definitely wanted to get her. And then there is a kind of ooze-splattered version of Bebop, which is not the same colorways that we get in the regular retail release figure. So if you're looking for, a whole bunch of figures in one pack, this is a pretty good one, even though it doesn't come with any of the weapons trees like the single-carded figures get. But getting the Turtles, April, and Bebop out of this Ooze Cruisin' figure set, I really dig how the new Turtle designs turned out. I know some have critiqued the look, but I think it's fun, and by seeing the trailers, this movie seems to give us a really unique animation style, which heavily influences the look of these toys. And because of that, some of the more idiosyncratic design choices don't bother me too much. My only gripe with the Turtles is their articulation. They have 11 points just like the other figures, but they lack ankle rocker joints, and that does make some of the posing a little more difficult than the other figures. I had the most trouble with Raphael, but I was able to eventually get him in a pretty decent standing pose. It's also a bummer that the Ooze Cruisin' figures, a Target exclusive set, doesn't include the weapon trees, but we do have their main weapons that feature paint apps to make them pop. April, which as far as I can tell isn't exclusive of this set, looks good as well. She doesn't feature any weapons, just a handbag, so hopefully a regular release will give her more accessories. There are a few bespectacled toys in this first wave, including this April, and I think Playmates pulled them all off really well. Splinter, Bebop, and Donnie all look great with their glasses, which can be a tough feat to pull off in a smaller scale action figure, but they all do it well here. The Ooze paint variant of Bebop is nearly identical to the regular release other than the aforementioned Ooze paint apps. He also has his main weapon but lacks his weapon tree. If you can find this Ooze Cruisin' set, I think it's a good buy. At $54.99, that comes in about $9 a figure, cheaper than if you bought them all individually. I'm a sucker for glow-in-the-dark, and I had to pick up these two glow-in-the-dark sets. Really exciting to get some glow-in-the-dark figures to go with the regular releases. These are a Target exclusive, and both Making of a Ninja sets give you a translucent glow-in-the-dark baby turtle, turtle toddler, and a glow-in-the-dark version of the full-size turtle. I love getting the baby and toddler turtles. The babies remind me of the glow-in-the-dark turtles you would get with cans of retro mutagen ooze in the OG line, and the tots were also done in previous lines. I hope we get more than just Raph and Leo, as it feels incomplete without the whole team. As far as how well the glow-in-the-dark goes, I think it works pretty well. It's not the best glow effect I've ever seen, but it's also not the worst. I love that we have some smaller vehicles to go with as well. I mean, cycles have been a part of the TMNT line since the beginning, so I love that we got a couple of examples here. The Ninja Kick Cycle has some really fun action features, my favorite being the ninja kicking action. It works really well once you get your exclusive helmeted Leo on the bike, flipping a little pizza on the end while Leo holds onto the handlebars that flip him left or right. The Ninja Star firing action is fun as well, but I will say my kids, and probably many others, will lose the little green stars fairly quickly. The Battle Cycle is my favorite, a motorcycle slash scooter that harkens back to the original Turtle Cycle. I like that the trash can sidecar can attach to the back or the side, and I love how a little nunchuck attachment connects to the side wheel, giving you some wheel weaponry like the original. I think that the helmeted Raph figure is a ton of fun as well. Really, both bikes are great. The only negative I have is with the kick cycle. It can't stand up on its own, which makes playing with and displaying the vehicle a bit more difficult. What are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without their party wagon? And I love that we got a new one with this movie and this toy line. The Pizza Fire Van was a must-buy the second I saw it. It combines two of the classic vehicles from quite a few turtle lines, the party wagon and the pizza thrower. It's a tad spendy at $39.99, and I assume that's because of the included pizza thrower. But it's a really fun turtle van that has a lot of nods to the original, but clearly looks like a modded pizza delivery van. The van easily fits all of the turtles as well as April and Splinter. There are a ton of stickers to apply, and so many of them are cut into unique shapes that only work in very specific places. If you hate applying stickers like me, you'll find these a pain as well. I like how they made the front of the van a large panel door that opens to easily put your turtles in. I also like that they included foot peg holes to securely keep your turtles in place. I wish they did the same with the back door. Any figure or figures you put there end up falling and knocking around the back of the van. But on the back door of that van, there are a couple spots to allow your figure to hold on. The pizza thrower works just like you remember. You place little pizza discs into the top, and with the aid of 3 AA batteries, you can send pizzas flying across your room and house. The huge apparatus spring loads out of the side of the van by pushing the big pizza on the top. The effect works well, but it does highlight one big flaw with the van. The plastic they use is very mushy and bendy. The doors on the front, back, and side are also really thin. This leads to the doors not really shutting or staying closed all that well. And if your kid is playing hard with the vehicle, the doors may easily fly open. I don't know if I would have dropped the pizza thrower to give us a more sturdy vehicle, but this van matching the original's near indestructibility will not be the case. Giant turtles have been a part of the Playmates toy line since the 80s, and I love that we've got some more giant turtles to go along with this new film. I believe they've got him and a Leo version, but I had to go with Raph. And I had the giant turtles from the original line as a kid, and I love that Playmates continues to do giant turtles mini lines after the original. The giant Raph only has 9 points of articulation compared to the regular release's 11, so he can't get into as many poses as the normal one. But I think it looks great, and for kids that prefer the larger scale figures, I think they'll love this one. It's been a while since I went out on a toy line's release day and bought a whole bunch of them. And honestly, it was a ton of fun. Gone are the days of big launches that Toys R Us gave us, but for our Canadian friends that still have Toys R Us, it looks like they got a big Mutant Mayhem launch day. I'm definitely not jealous. But it was still fun to go out and be one of the first ones in a store picking up new TMNT toys. And I am happy to say all of these figures and vehicles that I picked up are reasonably priced, have good articulation, fun action features, great paint apps, they look good, they pay homage to the original toy line while giving us something new as well. If my kids do end up loving the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, I know they'll have plenty of awesome toys from Playmates to play with. If you want to keep watching, check out this video, and until next time, hasta luego, and goodbye.